I thought I'd sort of reel back a bit. First of all, where do I work? I work for the Town Planning Institute. That's the professional organisation for town planners in the UK and beyond. We just celebrated 27,000 members, and we work in the public and the private sectors. So I'm hopeful that there are members working for Southwark Council. Jolly good thing if there are. I thought I would just quickly say how planning works in London, in case there are people who in the jury that don't know that. So people who wish to build new buildings or change the use of buildings or replace buildings need to make planning applications to the council. Those applications are decided in accordance with a number of different policies. The main one is a thing called the National Planning Policy, and that says that the planning system should support the transition to a low carbon future. It should help to shape places in ways that contribute to radical reductions in greenhouse gases, minimize vulnerability to climate threat, and improve resilience. In addition, in London, there's a special thing just for London called the London Plan, which has been recently approved by the Mayor of London. And his plan says that throughout London, major development should be net zero carbon. And major development means, large projects. There's a nice fourfold thing that the Mayor has said, that major development should be lean. It should use less energy and manage demand during operation. It should be clean. It should exploit local energy resources and supply energy efficiently and cleanly. It should be green. It should maximize opportunities for renewable energy generation on site. And it should be seen. So it should be monitoring, verifying, and reporting on its performance. In addition, you'll probably be aware that Southwark Council will have its own plan, which I'm not going to go into now or summarise. So there are three things that the planning staff and the councillors in Southwark need to consider in order to make decisions on planning applications. Now, if the decisions that the councillors or the officers make in Southwark don't follow those rules, and if the person who's making the planning application doesn't like the decision, like if it's a refusal or if it's a permission according to difficult conditions, they can appeal to the government again over the council.
You can appeal against a planning permission that's been refused, but you wanted it permitted. And we find that the problem with government policy is that it doesn't really seem to be emphasising climate. It seems to be emphasising the number of houses built above all other considerations. And that is actually quite a dangerous view to take in the future. Then picking up Aaron's point, about 2 years ago, we also called for a climate justice approach to be employed in government policy, because there's a danger in thinking of climate as a technical or a scientific issue. And actually, we also need to consider how vulnerability to climate change varies between different kinds of people. So it often tends to be poorer people that live in areas that are vulnerable to flood risk, for example. And also, we need to think about what happens if you employ different policies, like, for example, increases in gas prices. How's that going to work out according to different people? And a key issue, which I think is an interesting one from the Southwark point of view, is that if you have energy efficient retrofit programs, there is a risk of gentrification occurring, where in order to pay for those retrofit programs, prices or rents of housing increase. And that could mean a kind of own goal in climate policy. I was asked to talk a little bit about green space. So just to finish off, I would say that we did a big project to evaluate the benefits of the planning system in England about a year ago with a firm called Vivid Economics. And they found that if you added 156 new green spaces across various locations, that will be sufficient to provide a reasonable standard of access to 150,000 people living in the most deprived areas in Britain. And there will be physical health benefits and mental health benefits in the millions. And that was before the COVID crisis, where the need for local green space has been much improved. The need for it has been much more obvious because of people needing to have local opportunities for exercise. But equally, improving the quality of existing green spaces could attract higher visit rates from people and unlock greater health benefits. For example, in Leeds, we found that 24% of people said it was the lack of facilities that stopped them using their nearest park. And we found that if you improve the facilities in medium to large size green spaces, including better toilets, play areas, and cafes, you could increase annual visits to green spaces by as much as 67%. And again, there are huge benefits, for example, to the NHS as a result of better mental and physical health as a result. So you get your money back quite easily. But on the other hand, if you have a poorly planned green space, so you've got your green spaces but they're no good, actually it would have no benefit. And we looked at a small area of deprived neighbourhoods in Blackpool, and we found that a well-planned green space delivers 500% more value than a poorly planned green space. So that's just one area in which the planning system can help by ensuring that you do put new green spaces along with new development. And I think that's probably enough as an overview of how the planning system works and what its contributions could be in just one area. Another key area is making sure that housing is well supplied with access to public transport. But I think in your borough, that's probably less of a problem than almost anywhere else. So it's not a particularly major topic for this jury, but I could be wrong, and let's hear your questions. Thank you.